Good evening, friends. This is Fani Vijay, and the person in conversation with me is Anuja Agarwal, who has a great amount of experience uh, on the background of entrepreneurship, and she herself has started Creative Kabira, a creative confidence building platform for students earlier, and has been into certain ventures. Now she has stepped into the core aspect of helping entrepreneurs. And today's conversation is a bite-sized conversation, not exceeding 20-25 minutes, where we discuss different aspects of entrepreneurship and also uh, uh, share our knowledge from our experience on what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So much welcome, Anuja. So if you can share some more information about you to the to our audience.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me, and thank you so much for pairing up with me to have these exciting conversations. You gave a very wonderful introduction about me, and I would also like to introduce you to the audience. Vijay works with Barclays and has also been interested in uplifting people in their creative confidence. He has done a lot of workshops with me, things like goal setting, and he personally has been doing a lot of public speaking workshops with younger people. And it's more than an opportunity and a pleasure to have these conversations with me. As far as I am concerned, as Vijay introduced, I have been working on the creative confidence of the younger people. Accidentally, I landed up into facilitating entrepreneurship, and I realized that is also where my sense of gravity lies. And I've been enjoying that work pretty much as I work with children. So these conversations will basically revolve around creative confidence and entrepreneurship. Uh, the main focus being how we as people can design our own lives and move towards our potential. And entrepreneurship being one of the ways to it, enterprising these skills, learning enterprising skills being one of the routes to it. Right, Vijay?
Definitely, rightly said. And I have been associated with Anuja for more than 4 years. And to give my background, post my MBA, I have started a digital advertising venture with a few of my friends, and it went very well. And then we had to learn the lessons the hard way after winding it up in less than 2 years. So that was one of the greatest lessons of entrepreneurship that I have learned. Um, and after that, there are a series of initiatives that I have taken. The prominent one being Accelerator. It's a platform for people to actually improve their public speaking skills and become great orators. So I have been doing workshops and also certain sessions with students and then adults as well in improving their presentation and public speaking skills. In fact, I have done few of the goal setting sessions where I have talked and then helped few budding entrepreneurs to set some goals and then achieve their targets. So that's my background, and then with that background, let's deep dive into the core aspects. So,
Sure.
Anuja,
Why not?
what do you think entrepreneurship means, and then what does it take to be an entrepreneur?
So, Vijay, I was listening to you and your first attempt at, with your form, the entrepreneurship experience, and, learning the hard way through failures. And one of the things I've come to realize is pretty much what the education system teaches as something that is wrong. Creative confidence goes the other way around, or entrepreneurship goes the other way around. Entrepreneurship actually celebrates failures. Creative confidence actually celebrates failures. So it's something like something occurred to you, something you fell for, you imagined something into it, and you went and created a value, and you
Hmm.
were not successful at it. So you had your lessons out of it, and you went and again created something out of it. So,
Okay.
so entrepreneurship is nothing but recognizing the gaps around yourself. That's probably I see as the most appropriate definition that I can give to entrepreneurship. the gaps around yourself, which if actually filled up, will raise the standard of living of the people,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a feel for it. So, like, let's say if I have a feel in education, now
Mm-hmm.
I can actually go and build school buildings. I
Mm-hmm.
can actually go and build toilets for schools. I can actually go and work towards gender equality in schools. But
Okay.
where is it my field that lies in? And I realize that all out of all the gaps, probably my field lies in people, children working towards what they like to do, and being creative, coming out with the creativity and being confident with it. So,
Okay.
so it's basically realizing the gaps around yourself, and choosing a gap that you would be interested to fill in,
Mm-hmm.
and gathering all the resources, all the resources, like the people you would need, or the land that you would need, or the content that you would need, getting that all those resources, working towards the funding, working towards the infrastructure, taking off account of the compliances. So getting in all these things together to execute it, to develop value to fill that gap. So that is what I would call entrepreneurship as, and that is where the enterprising skills emerge from.
Wonderful. So,
So now
generally, most of the
let me
times,
pose a question to you. So who do you think would be an entrepreneur?
who do you think
Would be an entrepreneur? Who,
would be an
what?
entrepreneur?
Yes.
Okay. So there is a tricky definition. So sometimes people get confused between someone who is doing business. Everyone who is doing business can be called an entrepreneur, but the slight difference lies here. So if you started a business, and then if you are the one who is opening the shutter and then waiting for the customers to come in and then buying selling things, that is, you can be called a business owner. But an entrepreneur is someone who can run his business in his absence. So a person who reaches that level where he can delegate things and then make things work even in his absence can be called a smart entrepreneur, because that is the position where we all aspire to achieve. So of course everyone needs to start from a basic level, but after working for certain years, he should move to that level where his necessity is not needed. So that
Right.
is what
That's
I.
a very beautiful definition, Vijay. So what basically comes out to me is an entrepreneur goes beyond himself. So
Yeah.
goes beyond himself to create value for others. So it's not just self-employed, but creates value for many others around himself, so that the business can run in his absence.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Okay. So now let's kind of, have you ever, thought of that in today's world? Uh, I see that the business for small, the environment for small businesses is kind of just bursting out, and uh, there are so many organizations that are working towards building a very good environment, or a facilitative environment for small and micro enterprises.
Right.
So, do you think there are some myths around entrepreneurship that, for example, that it has to be big, it has to be scalable? So, would you like to kind of talk a bit about myths about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first myth is when an entrepreneur gets an idea, the first thing that comes to his mind is, if I share this idea with others, they might copy and then uh, they may take the limelight. But the fact is, no other person in this world is as passionate as you for your idea, because it is your child, your idea. And then if you are going to execute it and then implement it, then after looking at your success, they may copy it. But it is very it's definitely a myth if someone thinks that if they can't share their idea after they gets that in their mind, then it is actually stopping them from receiving feedback for their idea. So the moment anyone gets an idea, it is a very good practice to share that with the people surrounding him. If he is a college student, I mean, he has a fantastic network of people who can readily give feedback, the alumni and then the lecturers. So they are very much open to share things. So they need to get rid of this myth first of all, so that they can get feedback and then implement things in the most efficient way.
Wow, that's a very good observation actually. Like, in fact, I've heard it for every single idea. There are 700 enterprises already existing.
Yeah.
But still, that one single business holds a unique identity.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so yeah, like similarly, there are many other myths around entrepreneurship. Um, uh, like let's say the one that I mentioned, that it has to be, when you think of a business, it has to be something as big as Reliance or Tata's.
Yeah.
You have to come from a business family background to be an entrepreneur. So, whereas I have noticed that entrepreneurship is something the skills can be trained, and a person can be trained on the skills of being an entrepreneur. In fact, I've kind of worked on projects where youth in the rural backgrounds, the youth in the rural backgrounds is mostly self-employed. So I've kind of worked on projects where they identify the business opportunities in their own village, like mobile repairing shop or setting up a CA tutorial, and they self-employ themselves. So the idea is, how can we make a nation more capable, making it more capable and self-employed so that every person generates value. And
Yeah.
entrepreneurship actually brings in that.
Right.
Entrepreneurship actually does not depend on any other person to create job opportunities, and the person himself becomes a job opportunity creator.
Exactly. So, as you rightly said, there are so many avenues to actually get mentorship and then do the things that are actually worth doing. Meaning, so they need not reinvent the wheel. They can take the experiences from others. Uh, I mean, if you join a entrepreneurship network, there are so many other business owners and entrepreneurs who can share the lessons, and then they can actually guide these budding entrepreneurs. And then these budding entrepreneurs need not reinvent the wheel, and then they can just take the best practices and then uh, take the leap rather than going step by step. So one of the myth is without taking mentorship or without joining any mentorship organization, these people try to go ahead as a lone warriors, and then I'm not saying that they are not that they're going to fail, but it takes more time than they would have if they have joined these organizations or be part of these communities. So I would
Right.
say this.
Mentorship, anyways, is
Yeah.
always very beneficial and supporting. And the role of, especially, it's kind of the idea of mentorship is gaining momentum in India.
Yeah, right.
So
Every
if
state
I would like to ask you, what do you think is the major takeaway of our today's discussion?
okay. So now that we have started initiating these discussions, there might be some valuable inputs that are coming through this channel, which will definitely help entrepreneurs and students in particular who wants to come out and then creatively build something. So I'm very much looking forward to streamline our discussion and then give more points and then actually give real-time examples of how entrepreneurs are building enterprises and then even small businesses are flourishing. So how they are doing and then what are the best practices they are following and then how they are getting funding and who are the actual investors who are investing in that. So all these points will get into the details in the upcoming sessions. So I'm very much excited and then looking forward for upcoming sessions in association with you as well. So
Sure, I look forward for the same. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and it was a wonderful discussion with you.
right, and then thanks to you for the idea and friends. So this is being this the first initial session, we wanted to keep it light and then show you, I mean, then give you a glimpse of what is coming on. So you can expect more information and then more valuable inputs coming from this channel in the upcoming sessions. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.